Care & Share is a really valuable program for us. It made a tremendous difference at a pivotal point in our history.
The Care & Share grant helped us to keep going for a while. A real sense that we were all working together with the resources of the diocese.
Care & Share freed up a number of other people to actually be more involved directly in the ministry itself.
Care & Share has allowed us to have the people time and the funding to cover salary in order to make our work happen.
We know that this is the whole diocese supporting us, everyone from Hope to Powell River.
Hello, my name is Melissa Skelton and I'm the Archbishop of the Diocese of New Westminster. I'd like to share with you some information about Care & Share. Ministries included in Care & Share don't receive funding. Instead, they receive voluntary contributions made by parishes and individual Anglicans sent to the Synod office, which forwards these funds several times a year to the chosen recipient or recipients. Donations given by individual and parishes to Care & Share go 100% to the groups we support. The overhead for fundraising and administration for Care & Share is included in the regular diocesan budget and not taken away from donations. Beginning in January 2020, Care & Share dollars will be directed to the Urban Aboriginal Ministry located at St. Mary Magdalene in the Vancouver General Hospital neighborhood, with oversight by their gathering priest, the Reverend Vivian Seegers.
So the 127 Society for Housing operates 3 large apartment buildings in downtown Vancouver. And we house about 355 people, most of them extremely low income, in supported and subsidized housing. Besides the apartments that we offer people, we also try to address their social needs and encourage people to get out of the isolation of their apartments, volunteer with our various programs, get involved in the community kitchen, in making food, and coming to the bingo, which is always massively popular. And we find that it's important to not just provide housing, but also to build community for our tenants.
Well, without the funding of Care & Share, we would not have been able to hire our community workers who have background in social work or backgrounds dealing with people with health issues. One of the main issues that our community workers deal with is linking our tenants to services that they may not know are available.
Our mission is to place a priest, an Anglican priest, on the streets of Vancouver's downtown east side to reach out specifically to street-involved adults.
Yeah, you're welcome there anytime.
All right. What's your name?
The people that we seek to reach out to struggle with enormous burdens, primarily mental illness, drug addiction, alcoholism, extreme poverty, many cases homelessness. One of the things that Care & Share really helped with was to provide support for the street outreach priest in the form of an assistant who works part-time. That person is able to handle our financial matters, communications, scheduling, and a number of other tasks that make it possible for me to be present either on the street or in pastoral work within the church with the street involved. Jesus Christ.
St. Paul's Advocacy Office originally opened in 1995. We welcome anybody that is in need of assistance.
The St. Paul's Advocacy Office, as we call it, is a small unit within the parish. It's one of the pillars of our services to our community.
We have right now about 10 advocates. They work different days of the week. Some work 2 days a week. Some only work 1 day a week.
And we help people with a variety of different things that they need that they're unable to manage on their own for whatever reason. Often it's people who've been on the street for a little while and lost their identity, their identification that is, and we help them to get new identification papers. Recently what we've done particularly is try to help people who are dealing with their transgender transition. So for example, we've helped a couple of people to get their new identification papers through the province of BC, and that has become an important part of what we do in the advocacy office. We had some previous grants that had, for one reason or another, run out or were no longer available to us, and so the Care and Share grant helped us to keep going for a while.
Well, at St. Augustine's, one of the things that the money from Care and Share did was it gave us some breathing room while we sorted out what kinds of new funders we could find and who was going to be in charge of the new ministries. The two ministries that were involved in our application were the Neighborhood Ministry at St. Augustine's and the Pastoral Resource Center at St. Faith's. So the ministry at St. Augustine's was community meals and community programming, and at St. Faith's there was the Pastoral Resource Center referred people to different services. One of the things that I think was great was that St. Augustine's and St. Faith's received the funding from Care and Share 2015, 2016. And once we had sort of moved through our cycle of that funding, one of the next groups that applied for it and received it was the mobile care unit with the Westside Neighborhood Ministry. And so there was some sort of sense of continuity, a real sense that we were all working together with the resources of the diocese and the resources of the people here to meet the needs of people on the west side and in the south of Vancouver.
It came out as an idea of a number of clergy recently graduated from VST, like myself, who thought we should do something for the homeless and the needy in West Point Grey.
Well, the mobile care unit, again, had been sort of a gleam in Pittman's eye for a very long time, recognizing quickly, as our teams went out on the streets from the very beginning, what we recognized is that they had really barriers to access care and services, just because of their physical condition, their mental conditions in terms of being sort of rejected and outcast from society.
So we built a program involving first 3 and then 4 parishes in West Point Grey, St. Anselm's, St. Helens, St. John Shaughnessy, and St. Philip's. And these, we have mixed teams of all 4 parishes, and the street ministry part is going out on the street with packages and fellowship. So yes, we deliver, toques and food and so on, but the most important thing is fellowship and friendship with people who are profoundly alienated and abandoned by society.
When we started offering the medical and social service support through the mobile care unit, the responsibility that our volunteers undertook really ramped up. Now you're dealing with people's paperwork, their confidential information, and to be able to know that confidently that we were keeping close watch on that and that our volunteers felt robust in their training, that all of that was really an important aspect of it and attributable to having the Care and Share funding.
So there's quite a lot of administrative work that goes into making sure that we have continuity of care, that we have the files handled and so on. And so Care and Share enabled us to support that administrative work by hiring an administrative and communications person that would really do that. What that essentially did is it freed up a number of other people like Vicky and others to actually be more involved directly in the ministry itself.
So Salal and Cedar is a watershed discipleship ministry. We are an outdoor church that's a new church plant in our diocese. Care+share has been super helpful to us. We've been a recipient in the last 2 years of Care+share funds. The way that that's been amazingly helpful is that other grantors see that our home organization has faith in us and have been more likely to say yes to grant applications that we've made. And Care+share has allowed us to have the people time and the funding to cover salary in order to make our work happen.
UAM is Urban Aboriginal Ministry, a ministry in the Greater Vancouver area.
We are broadening the ability of UAM to reach out beyond just the relatively small number of people that Vivian as a person can reach. The idea is that this is primarily supporting people of First Nations who have come here from someplace else. I think that one of the important parts about UAM is that it doesn't just give the practical help, like helping people move into new housing or getting them into detox. It helps to connect them to their own Indigenous spirituality and culture.
I've been very fortunate to have Vivian in my life since I was 17 years old. So watching Vivian fulfill her dream of this ministry, I just felt the need and the desire to want to be part of this, because Vivian brought back God into my life and has taught me that the church is a safe place and is home, and people do care, and that's the beauty of Urban Aboriginal Ministries.
UAM syncs up very nicely with the priority of our fostering relationships with Indigenous people and working towards greater efforts related to Indigenous justice.
We try to help in ways that are in the medicine wheel, like the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual kind of ways that all lead to basically wholeness and health. If we had more funding, we could do a lot more with organization, with getting more skilled people to help, and I could be freed up to do the ministry work that I want to do, that I do.
Well, like Vivian said, it would free her up to be able to actually do some of the ministering work that she needs to do. Learning more of our culture, learning more of our teachings, being able to possibly future dream our own building, you know, a safe place where First Nations people know where they're safe, where they can go, where they belong.
Handing off the mantle as the previous recipients to the next recipients, I cannot endorse Urban Aboriginal Ministry more. This is a ministry in the diocese that is by an Indigenous clergy person for urban Indigenous people. It's a ministry that reaches out to folks who are extremely vulnerable in the urban context and does the work of reconciliation, of culturally appropriate care, of support in times of crisis, and bringing together our Anglican tradition and Indigenous traditions.
The diversity of efforts that Care+share has funded is quite broad. So for instance, we have funded something like the 127 Society for Housing, which is affordable housing in downtown Vancouver. We have funded a street priest for the downtown east side. And we've also funded a permaculture garden in Powell River that really draws in the whole community into those efforts.
I see Care+share as a way to really put our dollars in action in the community. And for us, the fact that it's not just a parish supporting us, that it's the whole diocese, that it's the whole region, is tremendously important. That gives us a kind of energy and a basis for support that really matters.
I think that the sort of menu approach, being able to choose different causes and ministries, that might be supported by Care and Share really allows people to focus their resources and finances in meaningful ways that express our larger ministry as a diocese.
We decided that we would ask for each parish to produce what we're calling an ambassador, somebody who would take interest in the campaign, help to tell that story to their parish, and then help to connect us with each parish and the people who are hopefully all going to donate to support the UAM.
Care and Share is a really valuable program for us. It made a tremendous difference at a pivotal point in our history.
The very excellent thing about Care and Share is that the monies don't stay in a particular neighborhood or a particular region, but they involve the support of a whole group so that we all have a part in ministry that might not be geographically in our region, but absolutely expresses the values and the priorities of the people in our small communities and our local churches.
My husband, the Reverend Eric Stroh, and I have made a personal commitment to support Care and Share, and I'm asking all of you to do the same.